Hello, Mrs. Nora Shikin and my friends. Today I'm going to talk about why we need a flow chart before we start our work. Okay, then I'm going to start a project. It's a construction actually. So I did a flow chart in my own. I'll explain you all later. Okay, before that I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Aravind, son of Perumal. Metric card number is 16DK19F1019. Okay, talk about the flow chart that I was did. I would like to share you all why we need a flowchart before we start our work. Okay, one of the most important uses of flowcharts are to depict through images how a process is performed from start to finish, typically in sequential order. A process flow diagram is often used in training to document an existing process or to evaluate the efficiency of the process. For example, if you are unsure whether or not a specific process is worth the time and effort, a process flow diagram can reveal bottlenecks or duplication of tasks. You can add symbols to your process flow diagram in which each symbol represents a person or group responsible for a task, decision or output. Your management team can then determine if any team is overextended or if some teams are not necessary for the process. Okay, then this is the flowchart that I was did for my construction. Okay, the first of all, plans, financing, and selecting a contractor. These three steps form the foundation of my project, namely what I am building, who will build, and how I pay for it. Often, the contractor I select will help guide me through the other two, but completion of all three is necessary to proceed. Okay, then the second one, permits and insurance. Most projects will require permits sometime from a variety of sources including cities, states, and various agencies. Failure to obtain necessary permits may result in delay of the project, halting of the project, or fines. Ensuring that the insurance is carried by necessary parties protects both me and the contractor. And the third is site preparation. Based on the layout of my site, my contractor will likely have to implement drainage to building code, then excavate or otherwise prepare the site for my new building. Other parts of site preparation may include laying utilities, arranging for power, water and sanitation, constructing temporary storage facilities and removal of vegetation. At this point, I'll begin introducing utilities and inspection. Okay, then the fourth, foundation. Most structures are built on a concrete foundation. My contractor will construct a form from wood panels or foam. A skeleton of rubber or mesh will be laid into the forms to increase the tensile strength of the foundation. Additionally, utilities and miscellaneous items such as in floor heating may be placed in the forms. Finally, my contractor will fill the forms with cement, allow it to cure, then remove the forms for a finished foundation. Okay, then the fifth, framing. Wood's construction building will then be framed up, creating a skeleton for the final structure. Metal building will have a similar steel frame, while the masonry structures will be built brick by brick. This frame will allow the contractor to add windows and metal exterior doors. Okay, then the sixth, roofing, siding, and HVAC. My contractor will next put some skin on your in my structure in the form of siding and a roof. During or after this project, an HVAC company will install heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Okay, then interior. With a roof and sides to protect my investment, my contractor will begin to insulate and finish the interior of my structure. You'll uh, Okay, you can see I'll see sheetrock, paint, lighting, trim, flooring, and a variety of other factors that make my building much more comfortable. Then the exterior paint. My building is almost complete unless I have a pre-finished siding. My contractor will paint the exterior of my structure. Then the ninth one is landscaping. Landscaping ranges from simple site cleanup and gravel to turf, shrubs, and trees. Landscaping both increases the aesthetic nature of my building and makes it more accessible. Okay, then punch list. Most contractor will walk me through the final building and create a punch list. The punch list addresses parts of the construction that are not sufficient quality or were not constructed according to plans. It may also include items which I decide to change, resulting in a change order. Okay, then finished project. Okay, my building is finished with a good contractor and proper maintenance. My investment should grow and be enjoyable for years yet to come. Okay, note most contractors specify that your my building will be broom clean prior to occupancy. I may prefer to arrange or have my contractor arrange for professional cleaning. Okay, then warranty period. Some contractors will provide a warranty on their craftsmanship. If I discover items of poor construction during this period, the contractor will fix or replace it free of charge. Materials and appliances are typically not covered by the contractor's warranty but usually have a separate warranty from the manufacturer or distributor, which may or may not include labor. Okay, then let's see utilities such as water, power, sewage, and communications are often implemented in various stages throughout the building process. Water, for example, will require piping to be run from the well or municipal water system to the structure. Additional piping will be cast into the foundation and then extended up through the framing. Finally, the toilets, sinks, and appliances will be installed during the interior portion of the construction. Okay, then inspection. Inspection will be carried out at most stages of the building process by government officials, usually the same ones who require permits. Inspections may include structure, building code, utilities, HVAC, electrical, etc. The final inspection will be conducted when my project is complete. Change orders are how contractor communicate changes in price and schedule to me. Change orders typically come about in one of two ways. Okay, first, I decide to change, add or remove of the original design, and second, the issues arise beyond the reasonable ability of the contractor to foresee. Change orders may also arise if I choose options beyond the range of an allowance. My contractor should present change orders to me in writing, including an estimate of the increase or decrease in time and money. Okay, that's all. These are the explanation for my construction flow chart. I think that's all. I did it. Thank you and stay safe. Okay.